Watch Budget 2018 with Bloomberg Quint.
Good morning, you're watching All You Need to Know on Bloomberg Quint. I'm Darshan Mehta. Joining me on the show is Agam Vakil. Agam will speak about the FNOQs. But the general trade setup at this point of time is indicating the fact that we might have a muted opening, and that is what the SGX Nifty is indicating. It's indicating a downtick of just 4 points, but still above the 10,900 mark in trade. So overall, the Qs are not that bad as far as the SGX Nifty is concerned. Most of the ADRs ended with a positive bias. There was ICICI Bank and Vedanta, which ended up over 2%. Tata Motors was rather strong. HDFC Banks, the financials doing extremely well. Reacting to its numbers was Wipro, which is down 3% in trade overnight. Now, as far as crude is concerned, crude is now shifted into the positive territory. So WTI and Brent again trying to come back. Brent is again trying to come back to the $70 barrel per mark. Overnight, in fact, on Friday, it had a fall of almost 1%. As far as metals are concerned, let's take a look at the base metals. Most of the metals on the LME ended with a negative bias. Aluminium was down 0.9%. Copper was down 0.5%. What did well was zinc and nickel, 1.5 to 2% higher. Lead was down, but tin was up almost 0.8%. COMEX copper is also trading with a positive bias. As far as China is concerned, it's a mixed set of opening that is there, because aluminium is trading down in trade, copper is trading down in trade, but strong traction coming in from the steel market. The steel rebar is up almost 1.5%. As far as the precious metals are concerned, muted opening expected. Gold and silver are down in trade. Even palladium is trading muted. Platinum and palladium are trading rather muted at this point of time. As far as fund flows are concerned, FIs, DIs, both of them net buyers in the market, almost 1,000 crores of net buying happening in between them. So 5,200 crores of net buying by FIs in this month, and 750 crores of net buying by DIs this month. So we are coming in close to $1 billion of net buying that's happened by the FIs and DIs this month itself. As far as the Nifty is concerned, Nifty rallied for the third day, ends at record highs, coming in close to the 10,900 mark in trade, and the rally has been very, very strong. So out of the 12 out of the last 15 sessions for the Nifty has managed to close in the green. As far as the sectors that outperform, the Nifty PSU Bank and the Nifty Bank Index. So the Nifty Bank Index coming in close to the 27,000 mark in trade. So strong traction happening as far as the Nifty Bank is concerned. As far as the contribution is concerned, it was up almost 77 points. What contributed? ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank and SBI. All banks. Reliance ahead of the numbers reacted positively, and the numbers were rather strong. So that will react positively. What is not contributing? The cement space. I'll take Ambuja. Maruti continues to bleed, and Infosys was down almost 5 points. That contributed negative 5 points. But Agam, record highs again for the market, closing in the 11,000 mark. Where are put writers writing in now?
Well, around 10,700, 10,800, Darshan, as one might imagine, considering we've seen the Nifty move up by as much as another 77 points. So there's been very little change with respect to open interest in the futures. When it comes to the Nifty Bank, however, we are looking at fresh longs with respect to its futures, considering we have seen a 4% increase in open interest. But when it comes to the India Volatility Index, that hasn't moved too much, still around the mark of 14. The Nifty put call ratio, however, has edged up higher to around 1.74. That said, in terms of the way things have moved for the options, as one might imagine, we've seen more writing coming along the 10,800 and the 900 puts, and unwinding in the 10,800 and 900 calls. There is one stock which moves out of the FNO band, and that's India Cement. But we're also looking at plenty of longs building up in several other counters, such as NIT Technologies on the back of earnings. And we've also seen fresh longs building up in ICICI Prudential January futures, also looking at fresh longs. But on the whole, we're watching out for the index and whether or not it can hold on to the 10,900 mark in today's day of trade.
Stock of the day is JP Associates. Things seem to be changing for this company. If you look at the financial, it's a good picture there. If you look at the top line growth, we are looking at a number, we're looking at a 32% growth on top line front at a number of more than 1,100 crore in this quarter, as compared to 842 crore that we've seen in the previous quarter of this financial year. Now remember, YOY numbers are not comparable for this company, as the company has identified cement plants to Ultratech Cement on June 29, because of which both your 3 months ended and 9 months period ended will not be comparable in the corresponding period. If you look at the operational performance, a pretty picture there, a 250%, more than 250% jump there. We're looking at a number of 140 crore as compared to a number less than 40 crore in the corresponding quarter. In the previous quarter of this financial year, margins there have risen to 12.8% as compared to 4.6% in the previous quarter. Also, if you look at the profitability, well, it's a net loss for this company in this quarter itself at a number of 186 crore as compared to 148 crore loss that we've seen. So you can clearly see that the losses are now narrowing down to 148 crore as compared to 186 crore that we've seen in the previous quarter. Now, if you look at the factors which go behind the making of this good set of numbers will be higher sales, lower raw material costs and the employee expenses, which have led to cost optimization for this company. Raw material as a percent to your net sales, that has come down to 35% as compared to 40% that we've seen in the previous quarter. Employee benefits expense have also, as a percent to your net sales, that cost has come down to 10% as compared to 14% that we've seen previously. Well, the company has reported an exceptional loss of around 11 crore in this quarter as compared to the profit of nearly 23 crore that we've seen in the previous quarter. If you look at the segment breakup of this company, you would see a cement division, which forms nearly 40% of your total revenue, contributed to, has risen to around 26% on quarter-on-quarter basis. Construction business, which is at 35% of your overall revenue, contributed to 27%. Power division, which forms meager 4.82%, contributed to around 11.7%, and the hotel hospitality business, that's the total formation of 6.72% of your total revenue. That segment has gone 37% on sequential basis. Well, if you look at the other divisions, that is sports events, real estate and others. Now, real estate division is important because it's 12% of your overall sales, and that has risen by a good 63%, that's sequentially. So that's the jump is also on account of this division. If you look at the other division, if you're supposed to look at the operational profitability of this company, there you would see the cement division, which nearly contributes to around 42% of your overall operating profit, has grown by more than 100%. Construction is a loss to profit scenario, while hotel business, there also you have the loss to profit scenario. If you look at the other division, you would say real estate, which is 65% of your overall, forms 65% of your overall operational profitability. That segment operationally on quarter-on-quarter basis has risen by a good 79%. Just to give you a rundown of why we're talking about JP Associates, well, it's the Supreme Court has maintained a ban on sale of assets for the company. Now, remember that RBI seeks to push this company to insolvency proceeding, but last year, do also remember that that the company was asked to deposit a good sum of 2,000 crore by the Supreme Court to protect the home buyers and wealth. While with this, let's toss it over to Jayesh for commodity market updates.
Thanks for that, Nikki. Let me start off with oil prices. Now, WTI for last week posted its first weekly decline in about 5 weeks. However, in early Asian hours, we are seeing uptick come in about for both Brent and WTI. Now, WTI is trading marginally higher by about 0.3%, and so is Brent. Now, all of this is on the back of Russia, which has pledged to extend its output cut and join OPEC, going into beyond 2018 as well. As far as the base metals are concerned, we saw that there was a mixed close for most of the base metals on the London Metal Exchange. Zinc actually climbed to its highest level since 2007 and was up in trade about 1% on the back of positive inventory data. Nickel, which was the best performer, gained about 2%, and aluminium and lead declined 1% each. Now, similar action can be seen from the Shanghai Futures Exchange, where most of these base metals are trading with mixed cues. Copper and aluminium are down in trade, while zinc is up about 0.5%, and steel has gained as much as 1.5%. As far as precious metals are concerned, we're seeing some bit of uptick come about for gold prices above the 1330 mark, and ETF holdings have surged to the highest level since 2013. Now, all of this was on the back of the dollar index, and with the dollar index in focus, Saloni Dhanuka is here to take us through the currency market update.
So, thanks for that, Jayesh. Talking about rupee first, it extended its gains for the third straight session on Friday and ended marginally higher by 2 paise at 63.85 levels against the dollar. However, if you see on a weekly basis, it was down for the second straight week as it depreciated by 22 paise against the dollar. Meanwhile, country's foreign exchange reserves touched a new lifetime high of $413.8 billion for the week ended 12th Jan. On the global front, as Jayesh was mentioning, dollar index was broadly down for the entire week. However, on Friday, it did ended marginally higher by 0.1%, bouncing from 3 years low of 89.98 levels touched earlier in the session. Elsewhere, the euro extended gains against the dollar, thereby marking its 5th straight weekly gains. However, traders do remain cautious ahead of the European Central Bank meeting, which is scheduled for this week. Well, coming back home, dollar rupee is trading at 63.92 levels against the dollar in the non-deliverable forward market, which indicates a negative opening for the Indian rupee in today's trade. Moving on to debt market, yields on new 10-year benchmark security ended 3 basis points higher at 7.3%, while global funds increased their rupee debt holdings for the third consecutive session on Friday. They infused close to 1,800 crore according to NSDL data.
Amongst the stocks that we're tracking today morning are also a couple of earnings that came out on Friday after market hours. Good set of numbers coming in from most of the companies. Starting off with HDFC Standard Life, where the net premium income for the company for the quarter grew by 19%, while net profit came in about 14% higher or so. We also have Chennai Petroleum, where revenues grew by 15%, net profit grew by 22%, and EBITDA margin also came in about 120 basis points higher. That apart, on the back of earnings, we're watching DCM Shriram, where revenues grew 30%, net profit grew by 56%. Operationally, the EBITDA numbers saw a much sharper jump of 75%, and EBITDA margins also came in at 18.5 versus 13.8. CDSL was another company which reported revenues where income from operations grew by 37%, net profit by 25%. EBITDA also saw a strong growth, whereas EBITDA margins came in about 700 basis points higher at 61.4%. That apart, we're also tracking Dr. Reddy's, where the US Department of Justice has imposed a $5 million fine on the company with respect to child resistance packaging for drugs. So you could see a marginal negative reaction coming in on this stock. That apart, we're also watching for GMR Infra. Now, this is on the back of an ET report which says that Vedanta, NCL and Torrent Power are vying for the company's energy Chhattisgarh plants, so keep an eye out on that name. That apart, we also have ILNFS Transportation Networks, which will be in focus. Now, this is on the back of a Financial Express report which says that the company plans to sell 4,000 crore road project to Canada Pension Fund. So we could see some positive reaction coming in on this name. IFCI is another one where the company has said that the government is considering infusing 100 crores worth of capital into the company in this financial year itself. So we could see some positive reaction on that name. And lastly, J. Kumar Infra Projects, you could see some positive reaction on the back of an order win of close to 57 crores.
So ONGC has finally set the share price to acquire government's 51.1% stake in HPCL. Now they will be paying around 474 rupees per share to acquire this 51.1% stake in HPCL, and they are looking to complete this deal by January 31st, 2018. Now, if you see, the market capitalization of HPCL as of Friday is close to 63,475 crore rupees, which values the government stake at 32,442 crore rupees. But ONGC will be paying a 14% premium to that, which values ONGC at close to, which values HPCL at close to 72,227 crore rupees, and government stake at 36,915 crore rupees. Now, the premium of 14% is very less when compared to the earlier media reports which said that ONGC might acquire the stake at a premium of as much as 50% to the market price. Also, speaking to the chairman of ONGC, he said that the price at which they are acquiring the stake is below the price recommended by the independent agencies which were appointed for valuating HPCL. Now, how ONGC will fund this, it is still not known, but it will be a combination of cash plus debt plus stake sale all. Now, ONGC has no long-term debt on a standalone basis as of now, and they're open to borrow funds for this acquisition. Now, the company has a cash of close to 15,260 crore rupees which they can use for this acquisition. Along with this, they have stakes in 4 listed companies, that is Indian Oil, MRPL, Petronet LNG and GAIL, which is valued at close to 26,000 crore rupees, 16,000 crore rupees, 4,400 crore rupees and close to 3,800 crore rupees. Now what brokerages are saying, now for ONGC, multiple brokerages are saying that the deal will be EPS accretive and the high valuation will have no negative impact on ONGC, and they are saying that as the premium is lower than what media had reported earlier, this will be a positive for the stock. And also if this acquisition is fully funded through debt, the consolidated debt to equity of ONGC will increase to just 0.4 times from current 0.2 times. For HPCL, they are saying that the new valuation, that is the higher valuation, will set a new benchmark not only for HPCL but also for other oil marketing companies. And as HPCL will retain a separate identity, it is a positive for the stock. However, Bob Capps is saying that there won't be any change in fundamental and outlook and on valuations because it has no synergy benefits. The brokerages are also saying that this transaction would trigger further consolidation in oil and gas space, and they're expecting IOCL to merge its subsidiary, that is Chennai Petroleum, with the company, and they're also expecting IOCL to buy government's stake in Oil India. Also, we have a lot of earnings today, so let's shift focus to that. We have Darshan Mehta along with Agam Vakil and Shraddha Babla on this.
So a lot of earnings today. Two major Nifty companies will come out with numbers today. The first one being Asian Paints, and then we also have Axis Bank. Axis Bank will come out with numbers after market hours, but Asian Paints, Agam, will be during market hours. Firstly, what are the key numbers that we should watch out for?
Sure, Darshan. So prima facie is going to be a very good quarter because we are working on a low base. So when it comes to the top line, we're expecting about near 16% growth on a year-on-year basis. Margins are expected to remain largely flat at around 19.5%, and consequently, we could also see profits move up by as much as 10 to 11%. Now, again, in terms of the way we're looking at comparisons, this is essentially on the low base, which is why we're looking at an uptick with respect to the top line.
Yeah, so volume growths will be important. We've seen that that's been extremely positive for companies like HUL that came out with numbers. So what's the volume growth number that we're looking out for Asian Paints?
Right, Darshan. So we are expecting a double-digit volume growth with respect to the decorative segment. But what we have to remember is that again, this is on the back of low base. Should we see, and again, Asian Paints doesn't give us the volumes growth, but should we see analysts estimate anything over 12% with respect to volumes growth, that means that it is not just the low base effect, but we've also started seeing genuine pickup in demand. So that certainly will be taken as a positive for Asian Paints.
Okay, so once the numbers are out, what are the important factors that our viewers need to watch out so that they can decide whether this is a good number or a bad number?
Right, Darshan, a lot has been spoken about margins. We have to remember that margins are very critical because of the fact that we've seen an uptick in crude. Sequentially, of course, we have seen a substantial uptick, but even on a year-on-year basis, there could be an impact because of which we are expecting a slight contraction in margins at around 19.5%. We'll be watching out for that. We'll be watching out for how their mass or the economy segment is doing, because Asian Paints so far has taken advantage of this premium segment. But that is just as crucial and also very important to its margins and, of course, outlook in general in terms of what they have in store for the next couple of quarters with respect to distribution and expansion.
Okay, so that's what we need to watch out as far as Asian Paints is concerned. But the other important number that will come out after market hours will be Axis Bank, and Axis Bank doesn't disappoint or surprise us, because the last few quarters they've been reporting some weird divergences that come out, and the market's been pretty shocked about it. So first, before that, let's talk about this divergence issue that happened. What happened in the second quarter?
Yes, it surprises on the negative side, unfortunately. Yeah, so in the second quarter, they reported significantly higher slippages, and that was driven by RBI's divergent assessment. Now, the gross NPA divergence for FY17 stood at about 5,600 crores, which was spread across 9 accounts. So not only that, but the slippages from outside the watch list and outside of RBI assessment also were significantly higher. And on the back of that, Axis Bank had revised their credit cost guidance for FY18 upwards. And also remember that in November, the bank had raised 11,600 crores from investors, including Bain Capital, which was also called as confidence capital after the disastrous set of numbers that they reported in the second quarter.
So anything on this divergence front expected in this quarter?
No. So it's an annual divergence that RBI audit was already completed for Axis Bank in the last quarter. So at least no surprises on that front. They've reported it. It's done with. What we will need to watch for this quarter is how the slippages and the watch list portfolio does, and also its IBC account linked provisioning. So for this quarter, basically, even operationally, it is expected to be a weak quarter. Net interest income is also expected to grow just at a single digit number. That has been happening for the last 4 or 5 quarters. Dip in the net or treasury gains is also likely to lead to lower net interest or non-interest income, and on account of that, the provisioning number will, the operating profit could be lower. But as far as the net profit number is concerned, it will look optically higher only because of the high base effect. So net profit is expected to come in at 818 crores versus 580 crores last year. So it looks like a jump of 41%. But that apart, loan growth, at least that is expected to come in at a steady 20% because their SME and retail portfolio growth has been pretty strong. But having said that, asset quality pain is expected to continue, with slippages are expected to remain higher. Remember, the bank has a total outstanding loan of about 7,000 crores to about 20 accounts under IBC. So broadly, asset quality pain is expected to continue this quarter as well.
Okay, so asset quality probably will be the most important factor that you need to watch out of Axis Bank's financials that come out, and in most cases Axis Bank will report numbers after market as today.
जितना पैसा आपको चाहिए इन सारे कामों को करने के लिए, उसमें बजट की एक लिमिटेशन है, लेकिन चूंकि अभी बजट आने वाला है तो जाहिर है कि सब लोगों की बात इसी बात पर है कि जॉब क्रिएटिंग काम जो है वो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर वाले मंत्रालयों से हो सकता है, जल्दी हो सकता है। ऑलरेडी हम बहुत लेट हैं। इस बार का बजट आप लोगों को इंक्रीमेंटली थोड़ा बहुत पैसा बढ़ के मिलेगा या कोई बहुत बड़ा कोई नया बदलाव आने जा रहा है?
देखिए, फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर हर समय इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट को प्रायोरिटी देते हैं और वो इस बात को अच्छी तरह से समझते हैं कि देश के विकास में रोजगार निर्माण करने के लिए इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बहुत ज़रूरी है और इसलिए नए बस पोर्ट बनाना, अभी नए एक्सप्रेस हाईवे बनाना, उसके लिए लैंड एक्विजिशन करना पड़ रहा है। हम लोग अभी बद्रीनाथ, केदारनाथ, गंगोत्री, यमुनोत्री का रोड बना रहे हैं नया, उधर मानस सरोवर का रोड बना रहे हैं, एक्सप्रेस हाईवे बना रहे हैं, करीब 1000 से ज़्यादा नए आरयूबी बना रहे हैं। तो मुझे लगता है कि निश्चित रूप से हमारे फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर निश्चित रूप से इसमें ध्यान रखेंगे और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा प्रोविज़न हमको देंगे, ये मेरा विश्वास है। और दूसरा, उसके साथ साथ मैं गंगा रिजर्वेशन में तो उनने पैसा दिया है, हम खर्चा नहीं कर पाए क्योंकि हमारे काम शुरू नहीं हुए थे, पर उसके साथ साथ जो रिवर कनेक्टिविटी है, नदी जोड़ प्रकल्प, उस प्रकल्प में से 5 बड़े प्रोजेक्ट हम शुरू करना चाहते हैं। वो भी प्रोजेक्ट करीब 1.5 लाख करोड़ के हैं। तो मैं चाहूँगा कि उसके लिए कुछ प्रोविज़न करके हमको फॉरेन लोन लेने की भी अनुमति वो देते हैं। तो इसके कारण देश में जो प्रधानमंत्री जी का सपना है कि 2022 तक हम देश में किसानों की आमदनी दुगनी करें। दुगनी उसी समय हो सकती है जब इरिगेशन हो सकता है। तो 1,88,00,000 हेक्टेयर ज़मीन पानी के नीचे आएगी। तो मुझे लगता है कि इस काम के लिए भी फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर जरूर रूरल और एग्रीकल्चर डेवलपमेंट के लिए सोचेंगे, ये मेरा विश्वास है।
सर, आपने फॉरेन लोन की बात की, सस्ते लोन की बात कही है पहले भी। मेरा यही तो सवाल है आपसे कि उसकी ज़रूरत क्या है? सरकार की जनता की संपदा का एसेट मोनेटाइजेशन बिना अपना स्वामित्व खोए ज़्यादा बड़ी रकम उठाने का और खुद मुख्तारी के साथ अपना काम करने का जब मौका है, तो ये चूँकि बहुत रेडिकल लगता है, तो क्या मैं ये मानूं कि सरकार का कोई बहुत बड़ा काम एसेट मोनेटाइजेशन की तरफ करने का है?
ये ऑलरेडी सरकार अपने अनेक पब्लिक एंटरप्राइजेस है, जिसके लिए मैं और अरुण जेटली जी की कमेटी है, लॉस मेकिंग पब्लिक अंडरटेकिंग है, बड़े प्रमाण पर उसको डिसइन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं।
लेकिन
और उससे दूसरी
चाहते नहीं है कि ड्रेजिंग कॉर्पोरेशन का डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट हो?
100% होगा, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। उसके साथ साथ अभी हम लोग हमारे NHAI के जो प्रोजेक्ट बनाए 105, उसको मोनेटाइज करके 1.25 लाख करोड़ हम मिला रहे हैं। तो सवाल इस बात का नहीं है, हम करेंगे ही, पर उसके साथ साथ जैसे लैंड एक्विजिशन है, उन बातों के लिए ऐसे एसेट यूज़ करने के बजाय हम लोग लैंड एक्विजिशन के लिए हमको बजट की आवश्यकता है। तो मुझे लगता है कि बुनियादी आवश्यकताओं के लिए बजट का सपोर्ट करेंगे और बाकी जैसे हम पोर्ट बनाते हैं तो ब्रेक वाटर और लैंड एक्विजिशन हम करते हैं और बाकी पूरा हमारा लैंडलॉर्ड बेस ये पोर्ट बनता है, तो बाकी सब BOT में और PPP में देते हैं।
आपने हम जैसों की कमाई के लिए एश्योर्ड रिटर्न वाला NHAI वगैरह का बॉन्ड लाने की भी बात कही, हम तो उसका इंतजार कर रहे हैं।
देखिए, वो भी लाएंगे क्योंकि अभी मेरे पास पैसा सरप्लस है। अगर आज मैं ले लूँगा तो मुझे बैंक में रखना पड़ेगा। तो मैं निश्चित रूप से मार्च अप्रैल में हम लोग आएंगे कि तब तक हमारा पैसा भी सब खर्चा कर डालेंगे।
मार्च अप्रैल में NHAI का
हाँ
IPO होगा।
पक्का आएंगे। और मैंने तय किया है कि अब रोड निर्माण करने के लिए पत्रकार हो, डॉक्टर हो, प्रोफेसर हो, वकील हो, कर्मचारी हो, कांस्टेबल हो, मिलिट्री डिफेंस में काम करने वाले हमारे सैनिक रिटायर्ड हुए वो हो, 60 साल के रिटायर्ड वाले लोग हो जिनको बैंक में 6% से भी कम इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा, उनको 7.25%, 8% इंटरेस्ट देने की मैं कोशिश करूँगा और 10 साल के लिए उनको गारंटी दूंगा, तो उनका फ़ायदा होगा।